Happy Friday, everybody. 26th day of April 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Friday. Woohoo! We love Fridays around here. It's a good way to start a weekend, wouldn't you say? I mean, if you had to rank the days of the week, you'd have to put Friday in the top 7. I think you'd have to. You really do. And you know what our rule is around here on Friday? We put together a 5-star show for you. A 5-star show. Or double your television viewing pleasure back. We do actually have a pretty good show for you. We got a lot of sports to get to, a lot of news to get to. The conversation portion in the second half of the program, this is very fascinating. Rory Turner dropped by a couple of days ago and sat down with our very own senior news correspondent, Steve Hair, to talk about the latest news from the Chelan County Port. Fascinating conversation with Rory. He's a fascinating guy, whether he's talking about port business or not. So Steve Hair's conversation with Rory Turner will come your way in the back half of the program, plus all the usual shenanigans apply. The big thing today, as we get into the first weekend of the Apple Blossom Festival, it's going to be windy. Well, it's going to be breezy today and then windy tomorrow. Windy is the only way we can put it. It's going to be a batten down the hatches kind of weekend for the next couple of days. That's the big weather concern, and we're going to cool down quite a bit. It's mild right now. It's 54 degrees outside of our studios. Yesterday at this time, it was 41 degrees, so it's considerably milder than it was 24 hours ago, but we're in for a blustery weekend all the way into late Saturday night into Sunday. We calmed down quite a bit on Sunday, but man, is it going to get windy, especially tomorrow for the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade. So be ready for a weather forecast that's going to blow you around just a little bit. So weather, news, sports, today in history, birthdays, the obscure holiday, everyone's entitled to my his opinion, and Rory Turner, Chelan County Port Commissioner, in the back half of the program. Megan is back. She is in control, not feeling particularly well, but she's back. A little under the weather, but she's going to see if we can plow through this next 57 minutes together, and we'll do our very best. It's 3 minutes after the hour. Let's do what we always do at this time of the morning. Take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras, and once again, the cross camera gets to bat leadoff. I like to use the baseball analogy whenever I can because I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. That's a 4K camera. It looks good. The river is high. The valley is green. We're looking good. We're ready to go for the first weekend of the Apple Blossom Festival. I started out yesterday, first day of the festival. I went to the food fair, of course, grabbed myself a little lunch. Didn't make it to the beer garden last night, though. Other things got in the way, but I'll be hanging around there a few times between now and Sunday of next week when we wrap up the 100th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. We are primed and ready to go for the big party. Good morning, Wenatchee. Good morning, East Wenatchee. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley proper. Where are we going with camera 2? I don't know. Megan's going to tell us. Megan says we're going to go, okay, let me think. Is that Steins? It's the, okay, that's beautiful Cashmere, the Cashmere Valley. Look at these orchards, man. They just went crazy over the last 10 days. We had the sunny and warm weather, and with occasional passing shower, and the orchards are just getting going now. Woohoo! Look at that. But if you got orchards and you're being fed by the Greater Wenatchee Irrigation District, you got problems. They got a broken pipe. I'll talk about that when we get to news. Beautiful view there. Camera 3 is up to Blag Mountain. We go way up above Shasta. A little windy there. It is a little breezy already in north central Washington, and it's going to pick up in intensity. That important weather forecast is coming up. You can see Leavenworth down there. That's a very high camera. Now, just a week ago when we went to this camera at the top of Blag Mountain, there were still patches of snow. Snow's all but gone. Oh, that reminds me. This weekend is the last weekend of skiing at the Mission Ridge Ski and Snowboard Resort. You got Saturday and Sunday, and then that's it. No more skiing for the rest of the year, or snowboarding for that matter. So if you haven't done so yet, or you got to get your Jones in at Mission Ridge, you got Saturday and Sunday to do it, and then that's it. And then finally, camera 4. It's off to Hose Landing, Megan? Yay! I got one right. The mighty Antioch flowing into the mighty Columbia. The beautiful hamlet of Antioch dominates our view there to your right. Beautiful view there. Campgrounds are starting to open. Things are looking good. People will be out camping. People will be out fishing. People will be doing lots of things this weekend. But again, if you're going to be outdoors, you're going to get buffered with the wind. That's the one thing about the wind. Breezy today and windy tomorrow. It really kind of knocks the energy out of you. I remember I played golf in the wind on a number of occasions, and by the time you're done with 18 holes, you're pretty worn out. The wind will do that to you. Beautiful view from Hose Landing. And I've been up to that site. It's quite the hairy drive. A lot of hairpins and blind curves, but it's worth it. Look at the view there. All of these cameras, of course, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi High-Speed Wireless. All right, just about 6 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service, that all-important weekend weather forecast. And once again, the big concern is going to be the wind. It's going to be breezy today. We're going to start out with partly sunny skies. Take a look at that graph. The top graph is the temperature. So the light shade that you see is the daylight, and then the dark is the evening hours. The bottom part of that graph from the National Weather Service is the wind. The purple is the sustained winds, and the dark blue is the wind gusts. Look at today, but really look at tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, good golly, it's going to be windy. So partly sunny this morning, then gradually becoming mostly sunny this afternoon. We'll top off at about 69 degrees, which is about what we were yesterday. It's going to be breezy. Northwest wind 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusts near 30 at times today. That's the big broad concern. This front is exiting the area, and then a really active cold front, a very sharp cold front moves in from the Gulf of Alaska, and that's going to cool us down big time and make things very, very windy. Clear tonight, 45 for the overnight low. Northwest wind tonight, 13 to 21 miles an hour with gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. And then Saturday, look at that. Lots and lots of wind, lots of sun, high of only 57 degrees. That's almost 10 degrees below normal. Temperatures will only be in the upper 40s to near 50 by the time the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade begins at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I should say, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. But look at the wind. It'll be windy in the morning, windy northwest wind about 8 to 18 miles an hour. Then midday it picks up 18 to 28 miles an hour. This is sustained winds and gusts near 40 miles an hour at times on Saturday, and it's going to be windy right into Saturday night. Very windy, 20 to 25 miles an hour at sunset. Then eventually it dies down, but again, gusts up near 40 at times on Saturday night. So breezy today, changes to windy tonight, very windy on Saturday, very windy on Saturday night. It dies down on Sunday. Cool Sunday, not a lot of wind, and a high of only 60. Into next week we go with sunshine on Monday and a high of 60. Again, that's chilly. We'll warm up to 65 with mostly sunny skies on Tuesday for the Big Apple Blossom weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week, we don't know. It's simply too far out in the forecast to give you any kind of accurate idea. Well, once again, any kind of outdoor plans today and especially tomorrow, be prepared for strong, strong winds. All right, it's 8 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a 1 minute break. When we come back, we got your Friday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Welcome back. 10 minutes after the hour on this Friday. We have partly sunny skies, 54 degrees. We'll top off at just about 69. Windy today. Very, very windy on Saturday. Here's what's making headlines. They're already 2 weeks behind schedule because of weather issues, and now a break in a water line has delayed further the start of the irrigation system for much of the East Wenatchee area. The Greater Wenatchee Irrigation District says the broken 48-inch steel pipe is at 7th and Union Streets, and it could take several days to repair. The district says people with controllers on automatic sprinkler systems, probably a good idea to turn those off. Residents who receive their irrigation water, by the way, from the canal are not affected. Well, it's become the unofficial kickoff to the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. I'm talking, of course, Chief for a Day. The young kids and their law enforcement mentors, there they are arriving. The motorcade arrived at Memorial Park shortly after noon yesterday. The official ceremony on the main stage took place from 12:10 to 1:10. The young chiefs officially sworn in. Wenatchee Police Chief Steve Crown told the crowd at Memorial Park that Chief for a Day is an event that really epitomizes what the Apple Blossom Festival is all about.
You know, I'd like to say a few things. Is that this is a tremendous event. Every year it seems like this event gets better, it gets smoother, and there's a lot more involvement by the community. And that's a lot due to you folks out there, but it's also a lot of people behind the scenes. Another reason why this event becomes so well run is all the volunteers, all the folks that represent each agency, and you guys do a great job every single year of showing up and celebrating these kids.
This is the 17th year of the Chief for a Day program. It celebrates the lives of kids who are terminally ill or have chronic diseases. The law enforcement agencies involved include the Wenatchee Police Department, the East Wenatchee Police Department, the Sheriff's Office of Chelan County and Douglas County, the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the Washington State Patrol. Also making an appearance yesterday, Congressman Kim Schreier made a special appearance at Chief for a Day to commemorate the beginning of the 100th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Rock Island's waterfront could be in for a major facelift. The town is working with the Port of Douglas County on plans to repurpose the old Silicon smelter property and restore the area's riverfront for recreational use. The smelter has sat abandoned since it closed back in 2003, but now it appears to be on a fast track for redevelopment. Port Commissioner Jim Huffman says it's been a community-driven planning process from the very beginning.
We had a charrette process where we had the citizenry involved in the conceptual planning of what they might want to see down there in the longer term.
Similar to what we saw at the Pybus.
Similar to what we saw at Pybus, more acreage, opportunities for some riverside amenities, and all kinds of potentially, I think, really cool things.
The Port of Douglas County used a $50,000 grant to commission a study by Graham Baba Architects to determine if the two biggest buildings on the property can be salvaged. That architectural firm is the same firm that worked on the Pybus Public Market remodel project. Now, they've drafted plans to rezone the 20-acre property into a waterfront innovation district that would include a mix of office space focused on research and development, education classrooms, hotels, restaurants, a brewery, an outdoor event space, and waterfront activities. Port Executive Director Lisa Parks says the port had previously received two different grants totaling $290,000 from the Washington State Department of Ecology for environmental assessment work on the old plant site, as well as the Rock Island Waterfront Sub-Area Plan. At their meeting this week, Port Commissioners conditionally approved a $120,000 state grant to complete supplemental environmental assessment work on the property, and that includes the buildings. Well, the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation announcing that Rachel Evie has been hired as the new executive director. She was named the executive director back on April 8th. She served as the interim executive director since October of 2018. Evie was originally hired as the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation Alumni Relations Coordinator in July of 2017. She's originally from Bakersfield, California, where she worked as a manager of development and donor services at Kern Community Foundation. She previously worked as a development and donor services coordinator and a foundation assistant for the Community Foundation. She received her bachelor's degree in international relations and Italian at the University of California, Davis. Well, the largest outdoor recreation event takes place this weekend in Washington. The Lowland Lake fishing season officially opens. Our good friend, the fishing magician Dave Graybill, says our area lakes will see a ton of folks out trying to catch some trout.
Well, this Saturday is the General's Lowland Lake season opener, which is a huge deal. Hundreds of thousands of anglers take to the field when these lakes open. Many of them are coming right where we live. I did the Creel people have helped share information about that. And approximately 60% of the people that are fishing the lakes in our region are coming from King, Thurston, and Snohomish counties, just to give you an idea. And for good reason. We have the best trout fishing you can find anywhere in the state. And even though we have a lot more lakes that are open year-round, and as an example, Billy Clapp, I've been fishing and having a great time already, but they always turn out in big numbers on that Lowland Lake opener.
Area lakes have been fully stocked with all kinds of catchable-sized rainbow trout for the weekend. Dave Graybill says, be on the lookout for fish with tags. You may win a prize.
This statewide trout derby that the department started about 3 years ago has been incredibly popular. And I want to remind people to look for a tagged fish in their catch at many of the lakes in our region, and be sure and keep that tag and turn it in, because there's $40,000 in prizes available to anglers statewide, and we have quite a number of them in the lakes here in our region.
So grab your gear and take your kid and go fishing this weekend for the Lowland Lake Opener. By the way, don't forget about the rules and regulations. There are a lot of them, and to get all that information, just go to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife's website for all the information that you need. And since it is the opening of the Lowland Lake season coming up this weekend, we wanted to show you a Tennessee father who really, really gets into his fishing.
Daddy got a big catfish. It's a shark. It's big, Daddy. It's a catfish. Ah, Daddy's in the water. Daddy got the Daddy, listen to
I know guys like that. I work with guys like that. But I'm not going to mention who, because I told Eric I wouldn't mention his name. Don't forget the news with Grant Olson comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10. Check out the evening news with Grant Olson. Eric will handle sports. Grant will give you the latest update on this windy weather forecast that we've been talking about most of the morning. So check it out, the news at 5, 6, and 10. And don't forget, all of next week, we're taking our newscast live on the road. We will be broadcasting the news live from Memorial Park next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday of next week, a week from today, our news will be broadcast live from the local telecommunications parking lot on Grant Road in East Wenatchee. At the bottom of your screen is all the different ways you can catch us and get a hold of us. You can email us, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call, you can go to our Facebook page and send us a message, you can go to our website, ncwlife.com, and connect with us that way. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, we will have the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade for you live tomorrow. We'll take to the air at about 10:45. The parade begins at 11, and our cameras will be located at the very top of the parade up at Triangle Park. We have a new location this year. So the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade, will have it live for you tomorrow, and then a week from tonight, we will have the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade, and then, of course, the Stimmel Growers Grand Parade will take to the air at 10:30 a week from tomorrow. Can't wait. 19 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Ways to lose stubborn belly fat. The roasted core wrap. 3, 2, 1. Not cool. Freezing away fat cells with Cool Sculpting, now that's cool. Cool Sculpting safely freezes and removes fat cells with little or no downtime and no surgery. Results and patient experience may vary. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Ask your doctor if Cool Sculpting is right for you.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Welcome back. Let's do sports on this Friday. Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. First round of the NFL draft, as a matter of fact. Arizona Cardinals had themselves a new quarterback. For the 8th year in a row, Seattle used its first-round pick to move back in the draft. They traded the 21st overall selection to Green Bay. The Seahawks used the 29th pick to select TCU defensive end L.J. Collier. He's 6'2" tall. He's 291 pounds. He was all Big 12 first-teamer. He got 6 sacks and 42 tackles his senior year. Seattle used the 30th pick it received from Green Bay to trade to the Giants for New York's 2nd, 4th, and 5th round picks. So, in addition, the Hawks got the Packers 2 4th-round picks as well. So, the Seahawks entered draft day with 4 picks and came out with a first-round defensive end and a total of 8 picks remaining, all in rounds 2 through 5. By the way, the NFL draft continues, day number 2. It is the 2nd and 3rd rounds today. It begins at 4 o'clock, and you can watch it if you so desire on ABC and ESPN. How about those Mariners? They scored 5 runs in the first inning, bringing 10 men to the plate, and they went on to an easy 14-2 win over Texas last night at T-Mobile Park. Marco Gonzalez, stellar on the mound. He picked up his 5th win of the season. He went 7 innings of scoreless ball. He allowed 6 hits, struck out 9. It's the bottom of the order that came through at the plate. Ryan Healy, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Dylan Moore, 3 for 4 with a run and an RBI. And D. Gordon went 3 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. Seattle and Texas play again tonight, 7:10. Shelby Miller takes on UC Kikuchi. By the way, Kikuchi is only expected to go 1 inning, as the Mariners will be limiting his workload. All right, that was Mariner baseball. How about local baseball? To the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard we go. It took 9 innings in 3 hours, but Brewster got by Chelan in a non-league game, 6-5. And as we mentioned yesterday, Orville forfeiting their doubleheader to Manson. To the Les Schwab Prep softball scoreboard yesterday, Cascade picked up an extra inning road win at Clay Elm. The final there was 7-5. The defending state champion Elmira Cooley Heartline girls, no trouble with Waterville Mansfield. They swept their doubleheader 20-0 and 12-2. To the soccer pitch yesterday, Cascade shut out Okanagan. They officially claimed their regular season Caribou Trail League championship, 4-0 the final there. Manson topped Tenasket 5-2. The Les Schwab Prep tennis scoreboard looks like that. Wenatchee remaining unbeaten. They swept Davis 6-1 for the boys, 7-0 for the girls. Eastmont was swept, however, by Eisenhower 5-2 and 7-0. On the track yesterday, the Eastmont track team traveled to Moses Lake for an afternoon of running, jumping, and throwing. The Wildcat boys beat Sunnyside 99-46, but they lost to West Valley 80-65. Similar story for the Eastmont girls. They lost to West Valley, but they beat Sunnyside. Coming up on the prep schedule for today, the Wenatchee Thunder Lacrosse Club. They'll be hosting Chiawana tonight. Leave off the field at the Apple Bowl. We will have it for you live right here on the NCW Live channel beginning shortly before 7. Eric Granstrom and Rod Higley on the play-by-play. On the pitch this weekend, let's do soccer. Eastmont hosts Eisenhower tonight at 7. It's senior night, by the way. Wenatchee travels to Moses Lake at 7. Saturday, Chelan hosts Tenasket at 11. Quincy is at Cascade. And Manson hosts Pateros. Those two will get going at 1. A couple of Big 9 doubleheaders today. Wenatchee travels to Sunnyside for a couple. Eastmont will host West Valley for a couple, both beginning at 4 o'clock this afternoon. On Saturday, Waterville Mansfield hosts Pateros for a doubleheader bright and early, 9 a.m. Wow. The rest of the Twin Bill starts at 11. Cashmere hosting Chelan. Okanagan's at Cascade. Brewster will host Manson. And girls fast pitch softball action. Here's your schedule. Cascade hosts Omak in a doubleheader today at 3:30. Sunnyside and Wenatchee play 2 at Walla Walla Point Park beginning at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, Waterville Mansfield plays Pateros, the first of a couple of games at 9 a.m. That's awfully early for sports. Cashmere hosts Chelan. Manson's at Brewster. Doubleheaders beginning at 11. A couple of local tennis teams will be in Spokane today and tomorrow. Big tournament. This is one of the big ones in the state. Cashmere, Chelan, Eastmont, and Wenatchee will be playing at the Inland Empire Classic at Meade High School today and tomorrow. Also today in league play, Cascade is at Quincy. Antioch hosts Pateros at 4 o'clock. Let's talk track and field this weekend. Cashmere, Antioch, Omak, and Tenasket will be in Peshastin today at 4 o'clock as Cascade hosts the annual Reike Invitational. Tomorrow it's Cascade, Cashmere, Davis, Eastmont, Ephrata Lake, Roosevelt, Omak, Pateros, all at Wenatchee at 10 a.m. A lot of going on in the sports weekend calendar. The Horse Lake Trail Run, hosted by Wenatchee, is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. 25K, 7-mile or 5-mile run. Riverfront Rock Climbing Gym is hosting a youth competition tomorrow for kids age 7 to 17. That gets underway at 9 a.m. And yeah, you can go check that out. It's the big one tomorrow night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. The Leonard Evans 150 is the featured event. The race classes will also have the Road Runners, the Street Stocks, the Northwest Super Late Models, and the Bandoleros. Racing gets underway at 6 o'clock at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, and the Apple Blossom Bash Men's Softball Tournament tomorrow and Sunday at Walla Walla Point Park. Don't forget, though, going to be windy. Those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday. 27 minutes after the hour, I had 3 obscure holidays to choose from. It's Huggin' Australian Day, but I don't know one. It's also Richter Scale Day, but I don't know one of those either. So we're going to go with National Pretzel Day, always celebrated on April 26th. Pretzels are believed to be the world's oldest snack. They date back to 610 AD in southern France when monks would bake thin strips of dough into the shape of a child's arm, folded in prayer. Add a little salt and bingo, you got yourself a pretzel. Celebrate National Pretzel Day by eating pretzels the way I like pretzels. You don't find them too often, but I like them big and soft and hot with salt and mustard. Dip it in the mustard and it's a party in your mouth. National Pretzel Day. And yes, they make you thirsty, and that usually follows up with a couple of cold ones while I'm enjoying my pretzel. It is the 26th day of April. It's due today in history, April 26th, 1865. 154 years ago today, they finally caught John Wilkes Booth a couple of weeks after he assassinated President Lincoln. The cavalry, the Union cavalry troopers, tracked him down on the homestead of Richard Garrett in Virginia inside a tobacco barn. Shot him and killed him, burned the barn down. Ironically enough, the Garrett family had no mail delivery. They lived out in the middle of nowhere. Not only did they not know that the guy who was staying at their house was wanted for the assassination of the President of the United States, they didn't even know Lincoln had been assassinated. They had no idea. And this was a couple of weeks after it happened. They wanted to prosecute the Garretts. They said, we didn't know what was going on. This guy showed up, and what are we supposed to do about it? Anyway, they caught John Wilkes Booth on this date 154 years ago today. 57 years ago today, April 26, 1962, I should say, we made it to the moon. The Rover 4, the spacecraft, became the first spacecraft from the United States to make it to the moon. Didn't work out so well. It crashed. Wasn't supposed to crash. It was supposed to land on the moon and send back scientific data, but the computer went cattywampus and it kind of went, ooh, boom. It crashed on the far side of the moon, the dark side of the moon, as they say. It's still there. NASA said, hey, it was a great success. They lied. It wasn't, well, we made it, but it wasn't exactly the way we were supposed to make it. Ranger 4 made it to the moon 57 years ago today. And April 26, 1986, 33 years ago today, they were at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden, which is over 620 miles from Chernobyl. And they said, man, there's a lot of radiation going on here at our little nuclear power plant here in Sweden. What's going on? They went out and took a look around, and they did their little beep, 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 beep. No, it ain't us. There's a lot of radiation out there. So they called up the Soviets. You know, anything going on there, man? You guys got some radiation problems somewhere down there? And the Soviets said, no, we're fine. We got nothing going on. Unbeknownst to them, of course, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant had exploded. Soviet Union tried to keep it a secret, but when 46 people died and 53,000 people have to be evacuated because of a massive nuclear disaster, the worst nuclear disaster in this plant's history, well, people are going to find out about it. It happened on this date 33 years ago. The Soviets kept it a secret for about 3 days. Not bad. Not good. Bottom of the hour. Birthdays, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eddie Egan was born on this date in 1898. He died back in 1967 at the age of 70. Who is Eddie Egan? He has a very unique claim to fame. He is the only person ever to win a gold medal at the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics in 2 different events. He won his Summer Olympic gold medal in boxing as a light heavyweight in Antwerp, Belgium in 1920, and then in 1932 he won the gold medal in the 4-man bobsled event. Pretty interesting. Eddie Egan, a unique claim to fame, born on this date in 1898. Happy 86th birthday to Carol Burnett. Doing good At 86, the Carol Burnett Show, of course, was appointment television back in the 1970s, one of the last really good variety shows. Variety shows don't even exist anymore. Of course, they're gone, but they used to be a staple of the American television diet back in the day, and the best of all of them was the Carol Burnett Show. Carol Burnett, 86 years old today. The First Lady of the United States celebrates birthday. Melania Trump is 49 years old today. She is the second foreign-born woman to be the First Lady of the United States. The wife of John Quincy Adams, Louisa Adams, was actually born in Great Britain to an American father and a British mother. She is the First Lady to be a naturalized citizen, and the First Lady whose mother tongue is not English. Of course, she's from Slovenia. She's also 5 feet 11 inches tall, which ties her as the tallest First Lady ever, alongside Eleanor Roosevelt and Michelle Obama. Melania Trump is 49 years old today. And Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, he's on the DL right now. He'll get off the DL. One of the most popular players currently in baseball. He's 27 years old today. He holds the home run record for most home runs by a rookie. He did that a couple of years ago. He hit 52 home runs. The first rookie in Major League Baseball history to hit at least 45 home runs, drive in at least 100 runs, and score 100 runs. And 2 years ago, he was the Rookie of the Year. In the American League, Aaron Judge is 27 years old today. And 99's got to get off the DL real quick, Aaron, all right? Everyone's entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion is coming up. And then Steve Hair's conversation with Rory Turner. Chelan County Port Commissioner Rory Turner is going to keep us in the loop on all the things that's going on with the port, and there's a lot. But before we get to either one of those, it's my friendly reminder, as you're out and about and you're buying your Pepsi product for the Apple Blossom Festival, look for these cans. They are everywhere. They're at convenience stores. They're in grocery stores. They're in dispensing machines. They have the special Washington State Apple Blossom Festival Centennial logo right on them. So pick them up and enjoy. Look for the Pepsi cans with the Centennial logo. Really cool of Weinstein Beverage to make this happen. I don't know how it happened. I'm going to have to talk to the GM of Weinstein because somehow he pulled the necessary strings and got these cans made, and they're everywhere. Pepsi Cola, of course, and Weinstein Beverage have been sponsoring the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival since 1983. That's commitment to the community. We're going to take a break. Everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion is next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
When it comes to accounting, we cover every aspect of it. From our comprehensive range of bookkeeping services designed to help your day-to-day business operations to our end-to-end tax service. From advice, planning, return preparation, and seminars, we offer you the best services with utmost professionalism, letting you focus solely on what you do best, managing your business. We offer solutions for success.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Lake Chelan Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course mailboxes, even passport photos. Chelan Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I do a lot of marriage and relationship therapy, and lots of couples come to counseling because they have problems with communication. Well, what I find is what they call communication is really just trying to convince their partner I'm right. Now, that's human nature, okay? I want to be right, and I want to have other people admit that I'm right, but I tell you, if being right means proving someone else to be wrong or just putting down someone that you say you love and care for, then being right can be a cold, lonely place to be. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in North Central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
No matter what the season is, the weather is always fine at Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come explore the stores today. Wenatchee Valley Mall in East Wenatchee and online at WenatcheeValleyMall.com.
We're joined on NCW Life News with Rory Turner from the Chelan County Port District, joining us here to talk about some ongoing talks apparently between the Chelan County Port and the Douglas County Port on the operations of both ports and how the two might be melded together here in the future. We talked to your counterpart, Jim Huffman with the Douglas County Port about this issue. And it's no secret, certainly, that the Douglas County Port District is going through some financial struggles right now, to the point that they're, or even in a situation where they can't afford to keep up their share of the cost of running Pangbourne Airport. Maybe we can start there, Rory, and maybe talk about that ongoing issue, because the two ports are working through a task force right now, an advisory group of community leaders looking at some other possible funding mechanisms to keep the airport up and running and into the future.
Right. Well, thanks for having me.
Long lead in, but
yeah. No, that's great. Well. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you know it really starts with Pangborn, really, because Pangborn, you know, it's just a great asset. It's growing. It's doing really well. We've increased to that 4th flight. We're still talking about the San Francisco or the Bay Area flight. So these are all really good things. In fact, our executive director and 2 staff, I think, are at a conference right now to talk to additional airlines and support for that, both the Bay Area flight as well as trying to get a leisure flight, you know, once a week to go down south somewhere. With this new extended runway, that opened the door for us. So anyway, the Pangborn's doing very well, but yes, Douglas has had some problems. I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with Gigawatt and their failure, and there was a lot of investments out there. So they'll be fine. It's just going to take some time to work that out. But last fall, we had a joint board put together for Pangborn. We get all 6 commissioners together. And coming out of that meeting, we were Mark Spurgeon and I were authorized to take a look at forming a task force to come in independently, very neutral, and say, you know, what are there's governance challenges and there's funding challenges. Both of these are challenges, and let's have someone else take a look at this. And it's very important not to look behind. You know, we've struggled for a lot of years. We're under a joint operating agreement right now that just doesn't work. It's the wrong document. And there was an attempt to do another document that didn't work, and so here we are with a document that doesn't work, a very important essential public facility, and you know, 2 separate counties trying to run it. So Mark and I just Mark's a great guy, and he's a problem solver, and so we sat down and had numerous meetings, just he and I, and we put together a task force of 9 people, and we wrote a mission statement, but basically, let's talk about governance and let's talk about funding. And so that's how this all started. And that was formed, and they've had, I think, 3 meetings now. We brought in a facilitator, and it's actually been remarkable, you know, frankly, what's come out of that.
a lot of different suggestions that are coming out of these talks as well.
Yeah, well, it's brainstorming, really, and the first thing, which was great, and none of the commissioners are on this task force. In fact, most of us haven't gone to all of the meetings. It's just we kind of want them to do what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, then to start off, of course, these whole discussions of consolidation are rooted really in these airport funding discussions. But are these talks expanding any as to maybe the future operation of the port itself?
Well, and nobody saw this coming, but Frank Schmelik is one of the facilitators, and he's a very well-known, he's an attorney based out of Bellingham. He does a lot of work with fire districts and a ton of work with ports across the state. He actually is the lead counsel for the Washington Public Ports Association, so he's very involved. And so we talked about different methods, different things, but he began to use this term, functional consolidation. And of course, I've never heard of that term before. And he said, this happens a lot in fire districts. They will have a functional consolidation because they have different jurisdictions, so they could get together and consolidate for administrative purposes.
Well, we had these discussions several years ago between Chelan County Fire District 1 and Douglas County Fire District 2 in forming a possible regional fire authority, so similar type of a concept.
Yes, in fact, he might have been part of that discussion. So as we began to, I mean, there were other ideas as well, and they're still on the table, and this is not yet a recommendation. And let me just say that it's we're still in discussion. There's going to be another meeting, I think, on the 8th, in 2 weeks, I think, and they'll know more then, and they'll make a recommendation to us, and then we'll go back to our individual commission boards and make decisions on this. But the essence of what, at least from what I understand, is the 2 staffs have actually gotten together and talked about this. And as you can imagine, there's a considerable savings in, there's
Economy of scale. And,
economy of scale, duplication of efforts. You really have three different organizations. You've got Pangbourne that has to act independently, and then you've got, Port of Douglas, and then you've got Port of Chelan. So there's a lot of, there's just a lot of things that are duplicated there. I don't know where it starts and stops, but it wouldn't surprise me. I've heard numbers anywhere between $200,000 and $300,000 in duplication of services. So I think we owe both of our respective counties a long look at this. And I don't know if in the past any two elected boards have chosen to form any kind of consolidation and come across the river and try to do this, but I think this is the type of leadership that we have to be thinking about in these days, especially when there's some cash crunches out there. So.
Yeah. Well, we've seen some of this already occurring, like in the city of Wenatchee, now being annexed into Chelan County Fire District 1 to save costs there. So it's something that definitely needs to be vetted.
Well, absolutely, and we're talking about if we can achieve those savings, then that's really that's sort of the delta, the challenge. That number is about what we're short on operating. In the next few years, Pangbourne's operating budget is going to change. We have some lease buildings that are going to return, and that's going to increase revenue. But that delta is around $250,000, $300,000 that we're losing on an annual basis. Then a little bit more than that now, but that will be trimmed. So.
And you got some capital improvement projects also down the line too. If you're talking about a new air carrier, Bay Area route, then you're talking about some changes to the terminal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So capital expenses going forward too are going to be a struggle.
It was interesting when the task force started. Frank Schmelik came and basically he and another gentleman said, the first thing you need to know is that Airport 101, airports don't make money. They lose money. It's just how much are they going to lose? Unless you're SeaTac Airport that controls parking. Another surprise to many people is the #1 revenue generating element is parking in just about in every airport, interestingly enough. And SeaTac is a gold mine for that. But he said they don't make money, so we just have to figure out how to minimize our losses, particularly in the capital side. So operating is one thing, but then on the capital side, I think over the next 15 to 20 years, there's, I think, around $60 million worth of work that has to happen. Most of that is paid for by the FAA. There's a match of 10% typically. We're actually arguing that we live in a county that is so federally dominated, 85% or 75 to 85%, whatever the federal government owns here, that we should be only paying 5%. So that's an argument we're actually taking to Washington, D.C. and see if we can get that. But so to minimize our share of it. But regardless, we have a big chunk that's coming up. And but there's just, we have to do it. You just don't. As an example, we found sediment in the GA fuel farm, right? The gas pumps out there filling up gas on airplanes. And as we did the historic research on that, we found out that the last time there had been work on it was 22 years ago. They had been put in there in the 50s or 60s, these tank farms, so these tanks. And so we had to move on. Well, that's a $750,000 capital improvement, and it happened just like that. And so we found out, we found the problem last year, I think, or late the year before, and we had a temporary solution out there. Now we're building a new tank farm, and it's capital, and it's not paid for. Any of it's paid for by the FAA. None of that.
Well, and the other thing about Pangbourne Airport and its importance to our economic vitality is that we are not on the I-90 corridor, and that's really our only connection to the outside world.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not only traveling, but it's Federal Express and all of the goods that we get through there. It's medical transport. It's fire suppression. It's all of these things. It's just essential we grow it and make it vibrant. Yeah.
As your talks proceed on possible consolidation, certainly there are going to be those in Douglas County who are going to be a little worried that, well, we're not talking about the dissolution or dissolving of the Douglas County Port District, are we?
Oh, no. Let's just talk about this. To me, this is a perfect match. If you get up to the 30,000 foot level and look down, right now, Port of Douglas is you know, they've had some financial struggles, but they're sitting in this area of just huge economic opportunities. That's where the growth is going. That's where everything's moving. There's a lot of industrial land for sale.
And their Wenatchee landing project to the north.
Very cool. Yeah, that's all great. But we over here don't have a lot of land. But what we benefit from is some very bright people in the early 1960s bought 100 acres at Old Station. And so, you know, we've developed a $50 or $60 million business park there. And, you know, hats off to our predecessors of commissioners and staff that got all that done. So we benefit from that. So now we put these two ports together and just think about the opportunities we could, you know, provide. What's their weakness is our strength, and what is our weakness is their strength. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe it makes too much sense.
And economically speaking, it benefits both counties.
Well, it should, if we do it right. I mean, if it happens, if that's the recommendation and the Port of Douglas adopts it and the Port of Chelan adopts it, then this isn't, I mean, this is just operating together for efficiency. And and that could last for 10 years or more. It's just an attempt to start doing things, you know, smart.
We're talking with Rory Turner with the Chelan County Port District. And I guess the final question I would have is a timeline. When do you hope to have maybe some answers from the task force for at least a recommendation?
You know, I would hope that we are maybe 1 to 2 more meetings at maximum, and that they will have all the data they need to make a recommendation. And again, I don't know what that recommendation, none of us know what that recommendation will be. But if they recommend that, then our staffs will get together and see if we can do that. And then each commission will vote on it. And if it all comes together and it's all positive, then I would say later on this year we would see some sharing of services. And perhaps as early as maybe early next year, 2020, we'd begin to sit in a board with 6 commissioners, and all commissioners would retain their seats. The representation remains the same. It's just that you operate under one budget, and it seems to make a lot of sense. So
I asked this question of Jim Huffman because both port districts were originally created by a vote of the public, and I would imagine that any change to that would require probably some kind of a referendum.
Well, you know, I'm not the right guy to ask because I'm not an attorney on this. I mean, there's certainly red flags all over this thing. We have to figure out how to move forward, and you know, to me, but from the common sense standpoint, I just think it makes, you know, when it's efficient, I think that's the thing that's the driving factor. I think that once you start mixing, you know, tax revenues, I don't think you can mix those. I think you have to keep those separate. I think the representation needs to be separate. And I know from a functional consolidation, I think it's a simpler path to start working together. Combining it into one port, I think would definitely require a vote, and that's a big challenge. But maybe this is a step to see if we can make this work and save some money and do good things.
Exciting times going forward
Yeah.
for both counties here, and obviously you're going to be a part of it. So thank you for joining us. Rory Turner with the Chelan County Port District joining us here on NCW Life News. I'm Steve Hair.
Thanks.
With spring finally here, summer must be just around the corner. So, moms and dads, what have you planned for the kids this summer? Registration is now open to sign up online using our new RAC app or by calling the club. Our team of professionals have multi-sport camps, swim and tennis lessons, swim team, and much more packed into our summer schedule. I'm Emma, RAC Membership Coordinator. Give me a call today. Our special summer memberships can be purchased starting May 1st. See more details at wrac.org or call 662-3544. The RAC, where we play every day.
Here at the YWCA Thrift Store, our mission is to make positive change in the community by giving women and families the tools they need to regain economic stability through work experience and education. Featuring generously donated new and gently used furniture, housewares, clothing, and much more, the YWCA Thrift Store has something for the whole family. Shop, volunteer, or donate with us today.
We're back live here from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee. I'm Dan Kuntz, getting ready to wrap up this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley and getting ready to wrap up a week's worth of Wake Up Wenatchee Valleys as we head into the first of the two big Washington State Apple Blossom Festival weekends. So we want to touch one more time on that weather forecast, and the big concern, especially tomorrow, is going to be the wind. Today, breezy. Take a look at that graph that you see there. The upper part is your temperatures as it progresses throughout the day. Then you go into the evening hours. That's the gray area. And then the white area is the daylight hours. And the bottom one is your sustained winds in purple and your wind gusts in blue. So today, it is going to be sunshine for the most part. High about 69, a little bit above normal. It's going to be breezy today. We'll call it breezy. Northwest wind anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. That's sustained winds. We could see gusts near 30 miles an hour throughout the course of the day today. Now, usually in the evening hours, the wind dies down. It's going to die down a little bit. We won't have any real strong gusts tonight, but the wind's going to be consistent, about 13 to 21 miles an hour. Again, this is a northwest wind. Now, Saturday, it's not going to be breezy. It's just going to be plain windy, and it's going to be cold. There's a very sharp and active cold front coming down from the Gulf of Alaska, and that's going to cool us down. We're only going to get to 57 degrees, but the big story tomorrow, it's going to be very, very windy. We're talking about sustained northwest winds, 8 to 18 miles an hour in the morning. By the middle of the day, it'll be anywhere from 20 to 28 miles an hour. And again, this is sustained winds. And are you ready for this? We could have wind gusts near 40 miles an hour on Saturday afternoon. That's windy. And then Saturday night, the winds will not be dying down. 39 for the overnight low. That's cold for this time of year. Northwest wind on Saturday night, 20 to 25 miles an hour. Eventually, in the overnight hours, it will die down to almost nothing. A little residual breeze on Sunday. Still very cold as this cold air gets ushered in from the Gulf of Alaska. We're only going to get to 60 on Sunday, but we won't have to worry about the wind a great deal. And then mostly sunny on Monday, and then we warm up a little bit on Tuesday with some sunshine, Wednesday, Thursday. So there you go. Again, breezy today, just plain windy for the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade. So just be prepared, and also it is going to be chilly. Yeah, speaking of the parade, we will have the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade for you live right here on the NCW Live channel. We'll take to the air at 10:45. The parade begins at 11. We'll have it for you, and we're in a brand new location. We're right at the top of the parade where the parade begins in the parking lot at Triangle Park. That's what we'll be for the Kai's Fiber Youth Parade. Again, 10:45 airtime, 11 o'clock is when the parade begins. And then a week from tonight, we'll be in East Wenatchee on the campus of Local Telecommunications on Grant Road. We will be televising live the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade. And then a week from tomorrow, the biggin, the Stemilk Growers Grand Parade, one of the single biggest event of the 100th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. It's the biggest event of any Apple Blossom Festival, is the Stemilk Growers Grand Parade. And for that, we're going to go on the air earlier. We'll be on the air at 10:30. The parade will begin at 11, and hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate. Everybody have yourself a great weekend. Stay out of the wind if you can. Don't forget the news with Grant Olson comes your way tonight at 5 o'clock, provided the show isn't canceled. I'll see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.